Hello, vinyl community. Tony P coming at you from La Basement, La Casa de Perla, La Hacienda. A couple days before Christmas. I'm here to present my vinyl tag of 2025. Now, I do have a cassette tag, in case you're really interested. Go back in my channel and look at it. I am going to do the CD tag too eventually, if I get it. It took me a while to do this vinyl tag because I'm lazy and sometimes I just don't want to. And when you get old and crotchety, you know, the Queen always reminds me not to get old and crotchety. It's the holidays. I say, yeah, I know. I try not to. Okay, let us endeavor to persevere, as Chief Joseph of the Nez Perce Indians once said. This was a tag by the green vinyl guy. Is that right? I forgot. And it's been bantered around a little bit by everybody. You know, all the famous people did it, so I figured I'd jump on. I'm not that famous. And it's a little early, but that's okay. You do whenever you want to. It's a tag. Tag, you're it. Okay. Let's start. Enough of my rambling. Let's start. The best purchase of 2024, new or old. Mine will be Procol Harum, Salty Dog. Wonderful album. If you don't, all these I recommend. All these albums are wonderful. And I always see Mazzy holding this one up. And this became available from guys who bought some records and they were on Instagram and I bought it. And it's a great sounding album. Procol Harum. I played all. It hasn't even got back on the shelf. It's been sitting out. That, and I'll tell you about a couple other ones that are still sitting out. But Procol Harum, Salty Dog. Get that. It's wonderful. Number 2, 50 years later, best album 1974. Well, you knew it was eventual that I was going to show this. But this Linda Ronstadt, 1974, Heart Like a Wheel, her breakout album. Although I don't think there is a bad album in the whole bunch. Some may be better than others. But this was just a wonderful album. Heart Like a Wheel, Willin' by Lowell George. You know that one. It's a great song too. It Doesn't Matter Anymore. Linda Ronstadt, 50 years, 1974. Wonderful album. Number 3, an album that defines a genre. Now, you may or may not disagree, and that's okay, because this is America, and you can disagree with me all you want to, but a group called Smith, not Smith, this is a group called Smith. I think they only had 2 albums. The lead singer, Gail McCormick, she went on a little bit of a solo career, but she died young. Brain cancer, I believe she had. But early 60s psych, that California psych music, real early. And if you sit there and play attention to this 2 or 3 times, you understand what I'm talking about. You can disagree to disagree, I don't care. Or agree to disagree, I don't care. Doesn't matter. But if you run across this, pick that album up. You won't be sorry. Tell them Tony sent you. Okay, best band from your home country. You can't beat this band. I mean, I was going to show you Tangerine. They were local boys, but they're from my country. But they were locally famous. But the Beach Boys. I mean, goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire. You got to say they are prolific. Such harmonies, such music, great music. Wouldn't It Be Nice is my favorite though on this album. Sloop John B. But yeah, the Beach Boys. They got it from the United States. An artist you miss dearly. And Edgar Winter or his brother Johnny Winter. the blues, the rock. I was fortunate enough to see them on this tour. Edgar Winter and White Trash. Rick Derringer's on here. Johnny Winter was there too. They played at my college my senior year. We brought them in. And the Queen and my best friend and his future wife, we all went. It was a great show. UFO opened for them. What a great night. But I do miss him. I miss both of them. Such good music. Such good music. Best live album in your collection. There are so many good live albums. You know, Deep Purple made Japan. Frampton Comes Alive. There's just so many. But even though this only had a few songs on it, oops, I don't want to show you that one. I'll get to that one in a second. The Who, Live at Leeds. It's just good. The tour was supposed to be, I think, the follow-up to Tommy. Correct me if I'm wrong. The follow-up to Tommy. They recorded, I think there were 38 shows. And they didn't like them. And I think it was, who told him to burn? He told one of the managers to burn all the tapes. And he burned them. They burned all the tapes of all the other shows. So they went, I think the last two was Leeds, and there was another one too. I can't remember where they were. But only a couple songs. But it's great. It's good sounding. Again, another one, if you've come across this, pick this one up too. Live at Leeds by The Who. One of the ones, my favorite live band. Your partner dumped you. What album are you playing? Well, not so much the album as the song. And it has to go back to Nielsen Schmilson. This is one of the albums the Queen and I first bought when we first got married. And there's a song on here called Without You. I think that was one of the hits off of Nielsen Schmilson. Good song, sad song. And that's the one I would be listening to. I would probably put it on repeat if you could. You can't repeat. Unless it's a cassette or an 8-track or... Okay, can you put it on repeat? No. Let's just stream it, maybe, I guess, huh? But, Klaus Foreman's on this. Herbie Flowers plays the bass. Great album. Again, I recommend it if you get it. Best sounding drums on an album. Now, see, that's another quandary here. Because Moby Dick of Led Zeppelin was one that came instantly to mind. But the other day, I was listening to a jazz album. I was listening to John Coltrane, Love Supreme. And I am no expert on jazz whatsoever. So don't put any comments that I don't know what I'm talking about. I know I don't know what I'm talking about. If I knew what I was talking about, I'd be famous. But jazz drummers, especially jazz drummers, fusion jazz drummers, they have to be energetic. And if you listen to John Coltrane's Love Supreme, and I think the young man's name is, let me check my name here. Yeah, okay, I was right. It's Alvin Jones. Alvin Jones plays on this album. He plays on the number called Resolution. And his energy, his timing, and he's just wonderful. Listen to another jazz album. Let's just listen to the drummer. Whether it be the brushes, whether it be the sticks, whatever they use. And the band stays with them. With all that energy. Listen to the hi-hat in Resolution with Alvin Bishop. Did I say Alvin Bishop? Alvin Jones. Elvin Jones. John Coltrane, I Love Supreme. Great album. I hope you have it. This, by the way, most of these I have are reissues. These aren't, I don't have enough money to get the real stuff. I buy reissues. That one was a $15 Walmart extravaganza from a couple years back, where they had all their albums on sale for $15. That was one of them. Lucky me. Favorite artist who is in, but who else would you pick? This guy was in 10 different bands. 10. Eric Clapton. What was he in? Derek and the Dominoes. He was in Cream. Delaney and Bonnie, I think he even played for them. He's a very, very well-rounded young man. That's him on the back. Another good live album. Not live album, best of album, I'm sorry. Best of album. But, yeah, Cream. Best of Cream. Beatles or Stones? I'm sorry. I do like the Stones. I have maybe one or two albums of theirs. And I'll show you this one. This is Sgt. Pepper's. I'll turn it the right way. It's Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And it's the Beatles. It has to be. And the only reason why I show you this one, this was for my son, my youngest son, on my birthday. First album I got from one of my kids. Others have given me, Tony and Kevin have given me albums. But this is the first one. My youngest son, Marky. So it's the Beatles. I'm sorry. Let's see what else we got here. You found a bag of weed. What are you going to listen to? I would come home. I don't partake. Doesn't mean I didn't partake. I don't now because I like to be in control, if you know what I mean. I would come home and I would put on the debut album of Uriah Heep. This will, it's hard, heavy, and there's one slow song in there that the stereo bounces back and forth a little bit of him singing. Yeah, and you're up there a little high a little bit. But this is the U.S. version. The European version was a different cover. This is the American version of the Uriah Heep album. Good album. It's just called Uriah Heep. I can't remember what the European one's called. It's not called Uriah Heep. It's called something else. I can't remember what that one is. But this is a good album. And I also think on the American, they switch songs on this one. I can't remember what it is. But they switched songs. One was on the European. One's on the European. And what was it? Bird of Prey is not on the European one. I don't know what the other one, what they switched it with. But Bird of Prey is not on the European one. So there. An album of the 80s you still listen to now. If you watch my cassette tag, I bring this young lady out. Anita Baker. This is probably one of the best sounding albums to ever come out of the 80s. Anita Baker and Rapture. Her voice is superb. And you know me, I'm a Linda Ronstadt fan. But her voice is unique. It's different. It's so wonderful. It's so melodic. It's so smooth. I think the big hit was Sweet Love. I think this came out in 85. I think 85 or 86. You can find this in the dollar bin. I've given this album away a ton of times when I find it to people who haven't heard it. Get it. I have a cassette. I have a CD of it. I have this tremendous album. Anita Baker, Rapture. All right. An artist whose political stance has soured you. I don't get into politics on music. It's fine that they put their politics into music. That's fine. But nobody bothers me. Let them do what you want. It's America. Free country. You can do whatever you say what you want. Show a favorite record album. I would say Asylum, and I'm not going to pull it up because it was the one that's Linda Ronstadt's on. She lets Capital to go to Asylum. That's my favorite. Okay, I have no other reasons. I don't know why people like like the Swirl and Verve, and I understand Atco and Mercury and Atlantic for Led Zeppelin. Yeah, okay. A run of 3 great songs. I'm not going to show you 3 great songs, but I'm going to show you a run of 3 great albums. And people have done this, and you got to. Led Zeppelin 1, Led Zeppelin 2, Led Zeppelin 3. You could have thrown 4 in there. You could have put Physical Graffiti. You could have done a bunch of other ones. You could have, done a myriad of others, but that's my 3. I mean, man, those are blockbusters. You could put those on, boom, 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 and it would just be wonderful. There are no duds, all studs. All right. An RSD purchase that you consistently listen to. I don't do record store days, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm too damn old. I'm too lazy. I am not standing in line, and I don't have enough money. I wait till later. It will eventually come back out again somewhere if I want something. So I just wait. Hey, I'm a thrifter. I go to the buck bins, $3 bins right away. Boom. All you see is dust and papers. Why? Okay. You're reincarcerated. I was never convicted. Never convicted. You are reincarnated as an artist, dead or alive. Who's it going to be? This guy's still around. And he's a local guy, local legend, Donnie Iris. He's from the Berg, Pittsburgh. Donnie Iris and the Cruisers. Still performing, 78 years young. He still does local. I'd like to go see him if he ever comes back around here. I think he's around Pittsburgh. I think he's just got done touring. He might be in Pittsburgh. Might be in Greensburg. I don't know. But Donnie Iris, you might have heard his Love is Like a Rock, Agnes, the Promise. This Love is Like a Rock is on this one. Donnie Iris and the Cruisers. Now, I always thought Eddie and the Cruisers, the movie, is it Eddie and the Cruisers? I thought it was something with him. I always thought that. I might be wrong. Remember, I'm not an expert. I'm just a good-looking Italian kid trying to make good. Okay, best 3 lines. Best 3 lines. Did I skip one? No. Best 3 lines in a song. I'm going to take you to this album. I'm going to show you Linda again, but it's not a Linda song. We all know that she does a lot of covers. But it's off this song. It's by Oscar Hammerstein, and she did this with the Muppets on the Sesame Street or on the Muppet Show. I can't remember which one it was. But she does a song called "When I Grow Too Old to Dream." And some of you, when you have more sand at the bottom of your hourglass than you do at the top, life looks a little bit different to you. Okay? And things hit you a little bit hard. And sometimes I can't listen to this song, so I'll try to get through it if I can. And it's the second stanza. When I grow too old to dream, I'll have you to remember. When I grow too old to dream, your love will live in my heart. So kiss me, my sweet, and let us part. And when I grow too old to dream, that kiss will live in my heart. Oh, okay, Linda Ronstadt, living in the USA. Okay, an album you never tire of. And this was sent to me by a good friend, the old goat, Don Abraxas. He sent this to me a while ago, and if you saw my VCLT album, you'll see where I talk about it. I have yet to put this on the shelf. I've been playing this every day. Abraxas. And he sent this to me. He heard that I liked it. And I told him, boy, I wish I had that. And he said, don't buy it. And he sent it to me. And so there. That's one of my favorite ones. Now, the last question is, show your favorite VC channel. And I try not to show favoritism. You do shout outs and somebody gets mad. Somebody gets mad at you. Do shout outs. And I don't want people to get mad. But this being the holiday season and thinking about things, there is a channel of a young man who passed away. His name was Shadow Man. I think Tom Finks was his name. Correct me if I'm wrong. Who had a wonderful channel. He and Addict Daddy loved his channel. He sent the Queen a bunch of, he found out she liked the Guess Who. And he must have sent about 10, 15 albums to her. And she was very grateful. And he passed away suddenly. He was from Canada. I think I go back to his channel every now and then, and it's still up, I believe. And I rewatch some of his stuff. So, since we're toward the end of the year, hug the people you love. Tell them you love them. Have a Merry Christmas and understand why we celebrate. I hope you have a wonderful new year. From the Queen and I, she's making cookies. From the Queen and I, please have a joyous Christmas. Hug your family. Hug your friends. Tell them you love them. God bless you.